Hey there, kids! How many of you miss junior church and Sunday school? It's so fun when you get to learn about the Bible with crafts and activities that match the Bible story and a teacher who makes the stories come to life and answers all your questions, right? And I know that sometimes sitting in the big people services doesn't feel quite the same. The sermons that the pastor gives don't come with fun actions or silly songs, and, well, let's be honest, they can feel kinda long and maybe even boring, hey? But did you know that even in the big people sermons that can seem so long, there are things that you can learn and be excited about? That's why we're creating a new series of FFBC for Kids videos called Sermon Sidekicks. Each short Sermon Sidekick video will help you to learn the exciting, real-life story from the Bible that the pastor is preaching about, and then explain 2 or 3 of the big ideas from the message so that you can listen for them and understand them when they come up during the sermon. Want to see how it works? Well then, let's roll the first ever Sermon Sidekick for today's sermon from Acts chapter 9. Today's sermon from Pastor Dan will come from the story found in Acts 9 in the Bible. This is the story of the conversion of Saul, and it goes like this. In the early days of the church, just after Jesus had risen from the dead and ascended to heaven, there was a man named Saul. Saul hated those who believed in Jesus, and so he got permission to go to a city called Damascus and take prisoner every believer he found there. He was on his way when suddenly a bright light shone from heaven all around him. He fell to the ground, and a loud voice said to him, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" "Who are you, Lord?" Saul replied. "I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting. Rise and enter the city, and you will be told what you are to do." Well, Saul got up from the ground, but when he opened his eyes, he couldn't see anything. So the men who were with him guided him into the city, where he waited for 3 days, refusing to eat or drink anything. All right, so that's the real-life, exciting Bible story that the sermon will be about today. And I want to help you understand a couple of the main points from this story, so that when you hear Pastor Dan talk about them, you'll know what he means, and you'll be able to follow along. Point 1. This story is about Saul's conversion. So, what is a conversion anyway? Well, the dictionary says conversion is the process of changing something from one form to another. So, was Saul's conversion about changing him from seeing to blind? No. When the Bible talks about someone going through a conversion, that means their hearts have been changed from not believing to believing. When we don't believe in Jesus, the Bible says we're spiritually dead. But when we choose to believe in Jesus, we're converted from spiritually dead to spiritually alive. This happened for Saul in today's story and can happen for you today. Just listen to Pastor Dan's message to learn how. Point number 2. The story of Saul's conversion is also all about God's grace. Grace is when God gives us something we don't deserve. Like Saul getting a chance to believe in God and serve God, even though he had been trying to arrest God's followers. He didn't deserve God showing him the truth, but God gave Saul grace when he helped Saul to believe. Listen to today's sermon to learn even more about grace. That's it for today's Sermon Sidekick. Now you're ready to learn all about Acts 9, Saul's conversion and God's grace.